everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card using Elegant Snowflakes stamp set and thin cuts and the Merry Christmas sentiment from Yuletide borders and some of the Serenity papers along with sapphire and silver glitter papers. So let's get started. I'm going to stamp snowflakes on white daisy cardstock and I'm going to emboss them with silver embossing powder and with silver glitter embossing powder. So I'm not sure which ones I'm going to want to use, so I'm going to make a bunch of cards. So I'm just going to stamp a whole bunch of these snowflakes and emboss them in both of the powders and get just a whole bunch of cut out snowflakes to work with. So I'm stamping 2 of each of this shape, these 2 shapes, and then I'm going to sprinkle my embossing powder on my cardstock here. I've stamped them with Versamark ink. It's a sticky ink that will take the embossing powder. So you just sprinkle it on and do it over a coffee filter so that you can filter your embossing powder back into the jar. So this is the silver glitter embossing powder. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll take you through the process of these snowflakes, and then the rest of it I'll do off camera. So, and then I'm just brushing off some stray bits with a dry paintbrush before I take my heat tool to it. One thing I forgot this go around was to tap the anti-static powder pouch onto my cardstock before I did my stamping. I remembered for the next ones though. So I'm heating it up with my heat tool. And you can see the powder melt and change as it heats up. And then I'll heat this one up. These are really pretty snowflakes. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch of them stamped out and embossed. So I'm going to bring my big shot in, and then I'm going to cut them all out with these thin cut shapes. I'm going to run one through and show you, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. So I'm just lining them all up and then securing them with some purple tape. It's a low tack tape so that the dies don't shift when you run them through. So I'll stay put and cut properly. That's how they turn out after you cut them out. Okay, and then I'm going to run the Merry Christmas sentiment through on this sapphire glitter paper. This glitter paper is so pretty. It's a brilliant, beautiful blue color. And it cuts beautifully with the thin cuts. And it's a very delicate image, but it cuts out just perfect. Okay, now we're ready to assemble our card. So I'm going to use this pattern. It's from the Serenity card making workshop, and you can get this pattern on my website. If you go to my online store, the URL is in the upper right corner, and you pull up the Serenity card making workshop, there is a link to the pattern, so you can download and print, if you wish, this pattern. And I'm just using the background pattern for this card, and instead of using the floral images, I'm going to use the snowflakes. So I'm cutting everything out just exactly according to the pattern. This is card number 3, and so I'm cutting out these squares of pattern paper, and then you put it in your trimmer and you line up the points of your square along your cut line, and then you cut and you get your diagonals. And then I'm going to cut the sapphire piece the same way. My square, I'm going to line up the diagonal points and cut. And then instead of using the toffee paper, I'm going to use sapphire glitter paper. And the glitter paper cuts a lot better with a guillotine trimmer. So I have this mini Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer. And the glitter paper is really hard on the Fisker's blades on that other trimmer that I had. So that's why I brought in my guillotine, because it self-sharpens, and so you don't have to worry about your blade getting all chewed up by the glitter paper. Okay, so now we're ready to start building the card. I've got a side fold A2 size card, and this piece of pattern paper was cut at 4 by 5 1/4, so I can leave a white border around it on the card base. And I'm just gluing everything down with bonding memories. And I'm just following this pattern, so it's 3/4 of an inch up from the edge of the pattern paper, and I'm just using my the measurements on my Versamat to follow along. I'm not being completely precise, but it's a pretty good measurement there, 3/4 of an inch up. And as long as you get the opposite triangle even, the point even in the center, then you're good. So I've got that lined up, and then you just layer your next pieces down. So this is the silver glitter paper, and I'm attaching that with bonding memories as well. And get those pieces layered. I just really like this pattern. There's so many different options that you can do with all kinds of different pattern papers and use the same pattern. Okay, so now since I'm taking pattern paper and I'm going to layer it on top of glitter paper, I'm using score tape because it's a super sticky double-sided tape, and it will stick better to that glitter paper. That glitter paper it's a little tricky when you're adhering something on top of it to get things to stick to it. So I've just found that score tape is the best option. So I'm putting score tape down, and we'll attach that floral piece to the top. And then we've got our base to our card. Okay, so now I'm going to pick out some of my snowflakes. And I'm just going through the pile and deciding which one I want to use. And I'm just going to lay them out on the card front first before I start adhering things. I just want to see what it's going to look like first. And that way I can move some things around if I change my mind. And I think I'm getting there. And then the Merry Christmas is going to go in the center. Okay, so I thought I was going to use this 3D foam tape, but then I remembered I had the center of this shaker star. I had some of the foam tape left from that, so I'm going to use that foam tape. So I'm getting ready to lay this down in the center of the card, but then I realized that I want that other smaller star to go underneath it, so I'm going to adhere that direct first, and then I'll lay my star in the center that is popped with the foam tape. So my Merry Christmas sentiment, I'm going to adhere that in the center. I'm going to put that down with some of this Aqua Tombow glue. And it's got a small tip, so I'm able to put little dots of glue along the letters. I'm just going to lay that down. And then I'm going to trim off the ends of the sentiment that hang over the edge of each side of the card. So I'm just going to snip them off. And then I'm going to add my other snowflakes. get those popped with foam tape. And then the smaller snowflakes I'm going to adhere with the Tombow Aqua Glue. Just a small dot of glue. Okay, almost there. And then of course I have to add some bling. So these are the Bluebell gems. And I'm going to scatter a couple of those around the card. The blues in this card are so pretty. Okay, so there's my finished card. So all of these supplies are available in my online store. I will make a list with links in the description below, and you can shop at the URL in the upper right corner of your screen or hit one of those links. I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching.